Jayo Radha Madhava Ajayo Kunja Vihari 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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Ajayo Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Ajayo Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Ajayo Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Kunja Vihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Swami Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Jayo Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe. Vallabha Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe. Jayo Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe. Vallabha Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe. Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Sri Radhe. Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Sri Radhe. Jaya Girivardhan, Jayo Girivardhan, Jayo Girivardhan, Jayo Girivardhan. Girivardhan, Jayo Girivardhan, Jayo Girivardhan, Jayo Girivardhan. Jayo Nitai Doyal, Jayo Nimai Sundar, Jayo Sundar Nimai, Jayo Nitai Doyal. Jayo Nitai Doyal, Jayo Nimai Sundar, Jayo Sundar Nimai, Jayo Nitai Doyal. Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Ya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya. Ai Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Guru Deva, Srila Guru Deva. Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Srila Guru Deva. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, तं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वाकथा कृष्णा Punyasravana-kirtanaha Hrudantasto hi abhadrani Vidunnoti suhudsatam Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama sloke Bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to a pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs established as an irrevocable fact. With the permission of Narasimha Kavach Prabhu, Ashok Prabhu and senior Vaishnavas, I will try to discuss this verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees, text number 45. Word to word, Dharmaha, religious principles, Bhagavatanam, of the devotees, Cha, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ena, by which Gamyate, one can understand, Akhena, in the narration, Asmin, this Samamnatam is perfectly described. Adhyatmikam, transcendence, Asesataha, without reservation. Dharmo Bhagavatanam cha Dharmo Bhagavatanam cha Bhagavan ena gamyate Bhagavan ena gamyate Akhenasmin samamnatam Amnatam Akhenasmin samamnatam Adhyatmikam aseshataha Adhyatmikam asesataha Dharmo Bhagavatanam cha Bhagavan yena gamyate Akhenasmin samamnatam Adhyatmikam asesataha Dharmo Bhagavatanam cham Bhagavan yena gamyate Akhenasmin samamnatam Adhyatmikam asesataha Dharmo Bhagavatanam cha Bhagavan yena gamyate Akhenasmin samamnatam Adhyatmikam asesataha Dharmo Bhagavatanam cha Bhagavan yena gamyate Ākhyānenasmin samamnātam Ādhyātmikam asesataha Dharmo Bhāgavatānam ca Dharman yena gamyate Ākhyānenasmin samamnātam Ādhyātmikam asesataha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The principles of religion by which one can actually understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Bhagavata Dharma. In this narration, therefore, which deals with these principles, actual transcendence is properly described. Purport. Through the principles of religion, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahman, the impersonal feature of Supreme Lord, and Paramatma, the localized aspect of the Lord. When one is well conversant with all these principles, he becomes a devotee and performs Bhagavata Dharma. Prahlad Maharaj, the spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession, advised that this Bhagavata Dharma be instructed to students from the very beginning of their education. Kaumara acharet prajno dharman bhagavatan iha. To understand the science of Supreme Personality of Godhead is the real purpose of education. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam. One must simply hear about and describe Lord Vishnu and his various incarnations. This narration concerning Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Narasimhadev, therefore, has properly described spiritual, transcendental subjects. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has the form of Satchitananda Vigraha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Him who turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. Such is the mercy of the Lord. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the principles of religion by which one can actually understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Bhagavata Dharma. So the religious principles are called the Bhagavata Dharma. In this narration, therefore, which deals with these principles, actual transcendence is properly described. So this verse is trying to talk about or discuss about the path taken by the devotees by which the Supreme Lord can be understood, and also talks about the Adhyatma Jnana. So both the aspects are being spoken, and Srila Prabhupada opens up with the purport. Through the principles of religion, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahman, the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, and Paramatma, the localized aspect of the Lord. And Prabhupada translates dharma as the religious principle. And if you try to look at the word dharma, it has its origin as dharayati iti dharmaha. Or in its full form it is said, dharati lokan driyate punyatmabhi iti iva dharma. And in that, dharma is from the root called dri. That dri, it means to uphold or to maintain. Or sometimes that dharma is also called to nurture. And so therefore it's been described or defined dharma as that sustains the people and followed by exalted devotees. So it's not just that sustains the people, but which is equally adapted or followed by exalted, sometimes they say souls or exalted devotees. So which means that the dharma is in the heart of an exalted devotee, as described in 17.186 in Madhya Leela, which says that Tarko pratishta srutayo vibhinna nasav rishir yasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano enagata sapanta. Srila Prabhupada translates that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. So when there are sages, you find there are always tarka or arguments, logical interpretations. And this we find that when Sukadeva Goswami was invited into the exalted assembly, when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed, all the sages were trying to give their own opinion. And one opinion differed from the other opinion. It's only when Sukadeva Goswami walked into the assembly, he resolved the issue and then narrated Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So here also we find that the dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality's opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. So the religious principle is hidden in the heart of a pure devotee. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajanas advocate. So whatever the Mahajanas advocate, one should follow. And this is the quote from Yudhishthira Maharaj in Mahabharata. Prabhu, here, Mataji. So the question now arises that it is hidden in the heart of a self-realized soul or in the heart of a Mahajan. Now then we need to know who is a Mahajan. And this is the verse quoted in the 6th canto, 3rd chapter, text 20 to 21. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahallado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vayasakir Vayam Dvadase Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bataha Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yam Gnatwamrutam Asnute. So here, translation Srila Prabhupada, Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Narada, Lord Shiva, the 4 Kumaras, Lord Kapila, Swayambhu Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, and I myself know the religious principles. So who is that I there? Yamadharmaraj. So this is a verse spoken by Yamadharmaraj. My dear servants, so he is speaking to Yamadutas. This transcendental religious principle, so this transcendental religious principle which is known as Bhagavata Dharma, so that is being quoted Bhagavata Dharma in this particular text. Or surrender, what is meant by Bhagavata Dharma? Or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand. But if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated and thus he returns home back to Godhead. So it is, Bhagavad Dharma is otherwise called surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him. So where do we find this verse coming? Surrender unto the Supreme Lord? The conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityeja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. So that's where Krishna is final instruction in terms of conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, that you surrender unto me, and by surrendering, ma suchaha, you don't have to fear, everything will be taken care. And how do we surrender? Prior to that you have the verse, famous verse. What is that? Manmana bhava madabhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So Krishna not only makes that verse once, but he speaks that verse twice in Bhagavad Gita. One right in the middle of entire Bhagavad Gita at the end of the 9th chapter. And Bhagavad Gita itself is considered to be the essence of entire Vedic literature. And in that entire Vedic literature, essence Bhagavad Gita, right in the middle of Bhagavad Gita, you have that verse, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. And again it is repeated in the 18th chapter, before Krishna talks about the Sarva Dharman Parityeja Mamekam Sharanam Vrajam. So therefore we can see there's a logical sequence of verses when we go through what Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita to what has been said by Mahajanas in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So the dharma is a word which has been translated by Srila Prabhupada as religious principle, or other places he translates it as duty. While few others, people who are not well conversant with the meaning of dharma, they tend to loosely translate into English as faith. So therefore faith is changeable. Prabhupada always says that somebody could be a follower of Islam or Christianity or Hindu. So one can change their faith from one ism to the other ism, but dharma does not change. So that means that we should know what is the real dharma. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says what is our real dharma. What does he say? Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. So this is our constitutional position, that we are the Nityadas, the eternal servant of Krishna. So if we know that constitutional position, or if we know who we are, then we know the dharma. If we do not know who we are, then we do not know the dharma. So therefore the Vedic literature is so wonderful that even if someone does not know about the real dharma, still the person can be placed in one of the ashramas, varnashrama. And the essence of varnashrama dharma is, once again, it leads the person to understand Lord Vishnu. And therefore, there is a progression, which is that verse that talks about the Varnashrama Dharma, and therefore it's a Samsiddhir Haritoshnam. Encyclopedia. Atapomir Dvijasreshta Varnashrama Vibhagasam Swanasitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. So therefore, the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and order of life is to please the personality of Godhead. So by simply following the Daivi Varnashrama, not the Varnashrama which is caste-based as you find in India. It has gone to such a level that these days the political leaders tend to say in India that we'll conduct a caste-based survey in India, and accordingly the employment percentage will be allocated. So that's what is the dharma or the caste system they try to understand, although that is not what is mentioned in the Vedic literature. So we find that it is a demonic Varnashrama dharma in India. That's the only place where we find there's some semblance of Varnashrama dharma, and that is also polluted. Whereas here we speak about the Daivi Varnashrama dharma. So now, coming back to the verse, so therefore we should know what our dharma is, and that dharma can be known only by someone who can follow the Mahajanas, because someone who follows the Mahajanas, they know that they are not just simply the spirit soul. This knowledge itself is so rare. Is called Guhyam, is confidential. On this planet we have more than 9 billion population, and out of this 9 billion population, how many of them know that we are not the body, but we are beyond the body, we are the spirit soul. Even the Nobel Prize winners, whom we consider as the persons who have the highest intelligence, they do not know who they are. So unless we know who we are, we do not know our real dharma. And even typically in India, they say that it is the Brahmana who knows the dharma. But what does Brahmana know? Typically, if you look at the Brahmanas who conduct the marriage ceremony, or the Brahmanas who come for various rituals to our places, what is that they're trying to tell us? It is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So it is once again within the material modes or within the material energy that they are trying to take us. At least in my marriage, I still remember that we were asked to go through the 7 times around the fire sacrifice, and then each time the person talks about that only you perform some pious activity and then you get some artha, some money. With that you enjoy your life, and finally you can think of moksha, the liberation. And this is what a Brahmana does. And the contact with the spirituality is only through the Brahmana. And this is what the Brahmana is speaking. He is still talking about within the material energy. So therefore, when you bow down to a Brahmana, what does the Brahmana tell us? Dirghayushmanubhava, dhanadharma praptirastu, chiranjiva. So these are the blessings the person is giving. And what are these blessings? All these blessings are pertaining to the body. It's only someone who understands who we are. The person says, or in Krishna consciousness we say that always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And what a great difference between the blessings given by a Brahmana to a blessings given by a Vaishnava. Vaishnava says that please always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, whereas the Brahmana says that live long, have a wonderful material life, have grains, have wealth, have property. So these are the blessings given by a Brahmana, and this is the blessings given by a Vaishnava. So blessings given by Vaishnava is on the spiritual platform, and the blessings given by a Brahmana is on the material platform. And the only contact with the spirituality or the spiritual platform is through the Brahmana, and the Brahmana himself does not know what spiritual life is. So therefore they tend to bless us with only the material aspects of life, and we are very happy with that. Wow, what wonderful blessings have I received. Whereas Bhagavatam says that the Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 10, Kamasya nendriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa artho yascha karmabhi. Life desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. The human life is meant for inquiring about absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So coming back here, through the principles of religion, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there are two verses in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam which are considered to be the focal verses, or the verses which will resolve all aspects of Tattva. What are the two verses? One is being quoted by Srila Prabhupada here. Brahmaiti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdate. That the Lord can be realized in three aspects: in His impersonal form, in His personal form, and in or Paramatma form, and in Bhagavan form. So this is one verse, and the other verse in Bhagavatam is so far whatever has been spoken are the Amsha and Amsha, or the plenary expansions and expansions, but Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So these two verses in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are considered to be the summum bonum of the verse of the entire Bhāgavatam. And any problem, any question we have regarding tattva or philosophy, we want to resolve, then we go back to these two verses that helps us in resolving the entire Vedic philosophy. And in quoting on this verse, that Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdate, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur talks about it is Advaya Jnanam, that is Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam. Advaya jnanam. And what is that jnanam? That jnanam is called Brahman. And what the jnana is called Brahman is jnanam. What the jnana is called Brahman is jnanam. And according to them, that jnanam is without a form, without distinction of knower and known, a condition of consciousness alone. So therefore Prabhupada calls it as impersonal form, or impersonal Brahmeti, impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. And who realizes that? Someone who is a jnani, someone who spends his entire life in trying to understand Vedanta. That person becomes merged into the supreme impersonal form of the Lord. It's interesting, it's impersonal form. Impersonal, which means that doesn't have a form, but that itself is considered to be a form. And into that effulgence, the jnani merges. So they see that there is no distinction between themselves and the Supreme Lord. That oneness they are trying to see. So that is the typical Shankara school of philosophy, where they see the oneness. But then when you move to Śrīpad Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya, they not only see the oneness, but they also see the difference. So the difference is that soul and the Supreme Soul are eternally different, eternally separate. So that is the knowledge from Madhvacharya. And when it comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sees both the oneness and also the difference. And what is that philosophy called? No. Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. That there is difference and at the same time there is no difference. And this is the conclusion of entire Vedic literature. So therefore, the Jnanam is called Paramatma. Earlier the Jnanam was called as, the Brahman was called as Jnanam by a Jnani, and the same Jnanam is called Paramatma by the yogis. And in the yogi, they try to realize that the Paramatma also he witnesses, and the form of Paramatma is understood to have a form as shown in the following verse 2.2.8. Kechit swadehantar hudaya vaksase pradeshamatram purusham vasantam chaturbhujam kanjaratanga shanka gadadharan dharanya smaranti. Others conceive the personality of Godhead residing within the body in the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches with 4 hands, a lotus, a wheel of a chariot, and a conch shell, and a club respectively. So this is 2.2.8. And a devotee, how does he see the Lord? He sees that is quoted, Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Vishnu Purana, Aishwaryascha samagrasya viryasya yashasya sriya jnana vairagyaschaiva sannam bhaga itim gana. Bhaga of 6 parts is defined as complete control, complete influence, complete excellent qualities of body, mind and words, complete beauty or wealth, complete knowledge and complete detachment from worldly affairs. So this is what the devotee understand, that the Lord is full of 6 opulences. And we try to actually aim in our life, which a Brahmana tries to bless us, to achieve these 6 qualities. Our whole struggle in life is to achieve these qualities, the knowledge, the beauty, the renunciation, and so on, the 6 qualities. And we spend our whole life thinking that, well, one day I'll become Bhagavan. But Krishna says that in which chapter? Bhagavad Gita? He gives the gradations 6.46 to 6.47, and in the gradation, tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi jnanibhyo mato adhika karmabhyascha adhiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajato yomam same yuktatmo mataha. According to me, the yogi is better than the tapasvi. So the yogi is better than someone who is a jnani or who's meditating, better than the jnani and better than the karma yogi. Therefore be a yogi, Arjuna. But I consider he who worships me with faith, with mind attached to me, to be the greater than all types of yogis. So of all the yogis, it is the bhakta who is considered to be the highest of the yogis. And in Bhagavad Gita 14.427, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratisthanam. It comes from me, that the impersonal form aspect, it comes from me. And in 10.42, Krishna says, Visthabhyam idam Krishnam ekam sena stito jagat. I pervade this universe by me, one portion as Paramatma. So therefore, here Prabhupada expanded, when one is well conversant with all these principles, he becomes a devotee and performs Bhagavad Dharma. So that Bhagavad Dharma is surrendering to the Supreme Lord or surrendering to Krishna. Whatever Krishna says is the Dharma. Whatever Krishna is against what Krishna says is adharma. It's very simple. And we have an episode in Mahabharata war. Does anyone remember? When an exalted personality goes against the wishes of Lord Krishna. That pastime. Yudhishthira Maharaj, when Krishna says this, pronounce loudly that Dronacharya has died, Ashwadhama has died, has been killed, and Dharmaraj says, no, I won't say that because he is still alive. And Dronacharya knows that there's only one person in the entire battlefield who tells the truth. And he wants to hear from Dharmaraj whether his son Ashwadhama has died or not. Although Krishna tells him to proclaim that, but Yudhishthira Maharaj refused to do that. And it is said that immediately Dharmaraj's chariot drops. I believe Dharmaraj's chariot is levitating. We have in physics a levitation principle that the rail train, it moves not in contact with the track, but it is slightly above. So therefore it can move faster and without friction. So 5,000 years back, we find the Yudhishthira Maharaj chariot was never touching the ground because Dharma was protecting him, but still since he went against Krishna's advice, then his chariot dropped. And later on we also hear that for that reason he had to go, visit the hellish planetary system for once. Now, which is that verse in Bhagavatam which talks about the dharma, that what Krishna says is dharma? Anyone remembers? Sorry, Prabhu? No. That's also said Tamai Pumsa Paro Dharma, but Prabhupada always quote Dharmastu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam Na vai vidur rishayo na api devaha na siddha mukhya asura manushya kuto nu vidyadara charanadayaha. Dharma means religion, or dharma means the code, the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is not prescribed or it is not given by any personality. Whether it is a Vidyadhara or whether it is the Siddha or whether Ashura or Manusha, no one can give that dharma. It is to be given only by the Supreme Lord. Just as Prabhupada says that the laws are given by the state and everyone required to follow. It's not that the individual can write his own law and tries to follow. It's the Supreme Lord who gives the law, and then that law has to be followed. And this we can do only if we know who we are. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, it's only spoken in terms of that you are the spirit soul. But only when we enter into the middle 6 chapters, which is the confidential part of the Bhagavad Gita, there we find Krishna describes or defines who we are. What is our constitutional position described by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in the middle 6 chapters? In the 15th chapter. He says we are part and parcel of Krishna, isn't it? Which is that verse? Mamaevam sho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. That we are part and parcel of Krishna. So as part and parcel of Krishna, we have a dharma, we have a duty. And that duty is to worship the Supreme Lord and to follow His instruction. And what is that instruction being followed sincerely in this month of the year by ISKCON devotees? By book distribution. This is the dharma, or this is the prescription Krishna gives and says that, well, anyone who does this service is priyakrittamaha, that is very dear to me, and no one is more dear to him than manushyena amongst the people, other than who distributes his knowledge. And the best way of distributing knowledge is to distribute the books of Srila Prabhupada. So every one of us should take this opportunity to distribute the knowledge given to us by the Parampara system, written by Srila Prabhupada. And as many books as this can be distributed, then we find sanity is restored in the society. Not only on the material platform, not on the spiritual platform, but even on the material platform. Because people are scared whenever somebody talks about religion, they think of only, in the current situation, the Gaza war. Because two parties are fighting in the name of religion. And therefore they think that no, religion is, no, we are not interested. We are good people. We know how to live in the society. And we do not want to take that, because what they witness is that great war which is going on, where it is said that almost 15,000 people have been killed in the last couple of days. And what? In the name of religion. But that's not the religion which is being spoken here. It's the religion, is the duty, the constitutional position. And that has been described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the essence of entire religion, or essence of entire Vedic literature, in terms of the Sambandha Gyan, that who we are, what is the process by which we can understand that relationship, and then the prayojana, what is the result of that. So this Sambandha Gyan is written so simply in Srila Prabhupada's books, and therefore by distributing these books, by giving this knowledge to the individuals, people will come to understand what their real dharma is, who they are, what their real dharma is, and then at the end of, not only that when they are living in this world, they can be happy, but after the end of this life, they can return back home, back to Godhead. So Prahlad Maharaj, the spiritual master in the line of disciples, advised that this Bhagavata Dharma be instructed to students from the very beginning of their education. Kaumara acharet prajno dharman bhagavatan iha. Right from the childhood, this dharma should be taught. We have a saying in our Telugu language, must be true in all the languages, that mokkai vanganadi manai vangadu. That if you want to bend a tree, it can be bent when it is a plant. But once it grows bigger, it becomes too difficult to bend. So therefore, you are on the right platform when right from the childhood you have been exposed to Krishna consciousness, and you should be so grateful to the parents that they have taken you, they are bringing you every day morning for Mangalarati, and you all actually inspire us with your attendance in the temple. I think you are one of the rare families in Melbourne congregation for the last 10 years. Every day morning you attend Mangalarati with few others. Otherwise, everything else is dharma projita atra kaitava. Everything else kaitava dharma, cheating religion, because people do not know who they are, what they are, and who God is, what God is, and therefore they have their own concoction, and then they think that that's what is their duty, and in the name of that religion, they are destroying the society. So therefore, one should be given this wonderful education right from the childhood. And to understand the science of Supreme Personality of Godhead is the real purpose of education. And what is that? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. One must simply hear about and describe Lord Vishnu and his various incarnations. And this is the reason why Krishna descends. He incarnates in so many forms for us to discuss about him. Otherwise, what can we speak? We can speak only about politics, about stock market, about movies, sports, and so on. But if we want to speak about Krishna, then unless he descends and performs his activities, then we do not know what to speak. Therefore, Krishna said that paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya duskrutam dharma samsthapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. To establish the religious principles, he descends himself. And then he creates the pastimes. He performs the pastimes. He is the director. He is the writer. He is everything. He is the performer. He is the actor. And we can discuss all that. And we find that in Bhaktivedanta Thakur says that if India is a small part of the entire universe, and within that Bangladesh or Bengal is such a small state, and here we find so many newspapers are available coming out, then spiritual world occupies 3/4 of the entire creation, and there are so many living entities there, eternally performing devotional activity. Every second we can issue a newspaper, and that can be read for generations. Unlike the current newspapers, we read for that moment and then we trash it. We don't even look at it. But the news emanating from the spiritual world can be read again and again and again, with each time a new realizations. And with that consciousness, a person can return back home, back to Godhead. So we find in the third canto the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. And there we find that before Maitreya gives the answer to Vidura Mahatma, he glorifies Vidura, that your entire dynasty, Puru dynasty, has been glorified because of your appearance in the dynasty. Because Vidura Mahatma is such an exalted devotee. And here we find that Narasimhadev is blessing Prahlad Maharaj that because of you, your entire dynasty has become glorified or purified. Therefore, the narration concerning Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Narasimhadev, therefore, has properly described spiritual and transcendental subjects. So one must discuss about, hear about, and describe Lord Vishnu and his various incarnations. So there Maitreya Muni again, while describing what's the solution for the problems in this material world, Maitreya's answer is dive deeper into Krishna consciousness. And to dive deeper into Krishna consciousness is to describe the pastimes, the various incarnations of Lord Vishnu. And hence Srila Prabhupada released his first book in Krishna consciousness is the Krishna book. which describes the 10th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Normally we are told not to read 10th canto of Bhagavatam unless we go through from canto 1 progressively to 10th canto, but Prabhupada, out of his kindness, released the Krishna book as the very first book in ISKCON for everyone to read with a proper perspective so that people can engross themselves, dive deeper into Krishna consciousness by simply reading and meditating on the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So therefore, in 6.3.22, we find this famous verse, Etavan eva lokesmin pumsam dharma parasmritaha bhakti yoga bhagavati tannama grahanadibihi. Devotional service beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society. So here Prabhupada talks about the religious principle. So the ultimate religious principle is spoken in this word, the devotional service beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So summarizing, we find that the religious principles can be known only when we know who we are. And who we are is the Sambandha Gyan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. That we are the Nitya Das of Lord Krishna. And therefore, when Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityeja Mamekyam Sharanam Vraja, that we need to surrender the Lord. And that surrender can be seen or displayed in terms of Manmana Bhava Madhbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. And the Lord can be realized in three aspects, the Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabdate. So therefore this verse is called the Paribhasha Sutra, or the critical sutra of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, that resolves any conflict in tattva. That Lord can be realized in three aspects, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabdate. But of all, it is the person who realizes the Bhagavan aspect is the best of the yogis. So with this we stop the session, and any question or any comment from anyone? Yes, Prabhu.
You were just mentioning that Brahmati represents
Yes, sir. That statement I've heard from Keshav Prabhu in Bhagavatam Club Bhakti. Both the verses. Okay, this is what we heard in Keshav Prabhu's class, that he quoted both the verses. Etecham sa kalapam sa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Okay. Okay. So then we'll have to check back. Okay. This is Bhagavan. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Okay, because this is from, I did not go through the commentary recently, but this is what I remember from Prabhu's class. Thank you. Any other question or comment? Grandharaj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vanchakalpa tarobhischa krupa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
that the Bhaktivedanta was asking, that every is come to the church. I could hear it, but it's
Your eyes here.
I don't always like that.
How you feeling?
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsham Śrīrūpaṃ Cakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanikanscha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,